Hello, welcome back. If you have just watched episode 8, oh my goodness, that was epic. I am so excited. Part of me does feel like I need to just film these and just upload the whole thing. These every couple of days episodes, I don't know how you guys are coping because I am absolutely loving each and every episode. The last one was quite short. I'm going to get stuck into this here because I am chomping at the bit to find out more about what the heck is going on. Let's get stuck in. So, if you remember, we left her off with she just opened the camera to see because the memory card is full. So she said against her better judgment, she turned the camera on. So let's find out what was on that camera. The screen lit up. Cold blue light flickering against the dark. My reflection blinked back at me from the black glass fractured around the corners. The familiar startup chime played, soft, cheerful, out of place. The gallery opened. The first photo was random. A cluttered yard, half-dead grass under a grey sky. A stranger's house in the background. A place I didn't recognise. The next few were the same, random snapshots, backyards, parking lots. The inside of a car, blurry, off-centre, the kind of photo someone would take while testing the camera out for the first time. I kept clicking, each photo sliding past like turning pages. Then the world started looking familiar. Coffee shop I used to visit. Same crack in the window, same crooked handwritten closed Monday sign taped to the glass. The street I lived on back home. My old apartment. My car in the driveway, unmistakable in its dented, rust-patched misery. I clicked faster. A photo of me crossing the street, coffee in hand, head tilted down against the rain. I couldn't remember the day, but the coat I wore was unmistakable. There were more. Grocery store parking lots, gas stations, my old job's break room window. Shot from outside, my shadow visible through the blinds. And then the photos changed again. The frame of a house under construction. My house. Men in hard hats walked in and out of the frame, hauling beams and sawing planks. And there, in one of the pictures, standing near the skeleton of my future front porch, was him, smiling widely under a mask, his cheeks protruding from the exhausted effort of old yarn. He was eagerly holding a thumbs up. And I saw me, in the distance, unloading boxes. I didn't need to see his masked face. The shape of him was enough. The stance, the way his shoulders tilted. My stomach turned to mush. I flipped forward. Now the photos were from the day of my last hunt. The same boots, the same pack, the same trailhead sign I passed that morning, only this time the shot was from behind me. Like someone had been walking a few steps back the whole time. One of the last photos was of the cabin. But I wasn't in this one. The angle was from the tree line, framed between two gnarled pines. The cabin looked like a dollhouse. The windows glared with light. The final photo wasn't even a picture. It was a black screen, except for the faint outline of something reflected in the lens. An eye, maybe? And the timestamp wasn't from the past. It was from today. I threw the camera against the wall and pressed my face into the cold floor. Desperate to feel anything but fear. The chill bit at my skin, but it wasn't enough to ground me. I stayed like that, folded into myself for what felt like hours. At some point I realised I hadn't even closed my eyes. I'd just been staring, unfocused, locked on the dull grey texture beneath me. I wasn't resting. I wasn't thinking. I was unravelling. This wasn't like me. Or maybe it was. How the hell would I know? I'd never been prey before. The thought burrowed deep, unwelcome but sharp. Was this how the fox felt? When I snapped its picture through the brush? Did the owl know I was there before the shutter clicked? Did the sunset care if I captured it? If I pinned it to a frame for the world to admire? I'd always been the one watching, the one hunting. I never thought about the ones being seen. Maybe this was the price for that. God, I thought, swallowing back the tremor in my chest, if you can hear me, I'm sorry. When I finally peeled myself off the floor, I felt hollow, weak, a poor imitation of the person I'd been before all of this. But the need to survive hadn't vanished. If anything, it burned brighter. I needed food. I needed a weapon. I needed to stop falling apart. Every door I opened made me flinch. Even the empty rooms felt too full, like something unseen had just slipped out of sight the moment before I entered. I screamed more than once, even when there was nothing there. I was jumpy, raw, stripped of anything resembling bravery, but I kept moving. One door opened into something so out of place I thought my brain had finally snapped. A sleek modern apartment stretched out before me. White countertops, a bright clean kitchen, designer furniture arranged with showroom precision. It smelled like lavender and fabric softener. My mind couldn't process it. I actually stepped back, glancing behind me. The hallway was still there, dim, rusted, the same metallic walls and flickering lights. I turned back, heart hammering, and stepped inside. My fingers trailed along the smooth surfaces, the kind of surfaces I hadn't seen since civilization. The fridge was humming, a faint clock ticked on the wall, and then I saw the bedroom. My stomach dropped. 3 children were lying side by side on the bed, all of them small. None of them could have been older than 10. Their skin was pale, too still, too perfect. Their eyes were closed. For one awful suspended second, I thought they were dead. But one of them shifted, almost imperceptibly, breathing soft and shallow, like they'd been sedated. I stood frozen in the doorway, trying to understand what I was seeing. Who were they? Why were they here? Must have made a sound, a sharp intake of breath, or the creak of the floor under my weight. One of them sat bolt upright, rubbing at their eyes like they'd just woken up from the world's longest nap. Their voice came out small, hoarse but steady. Are you our new mummy? The question hung in the air like smoke. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My throat closed up, dry and tight, and all I could do was stare. The child, a little girl, maybe 7, hair tangled into thin, lifeless strands, tilted her head at me. Her face was blank, like the question wasn't strange at all, like this was something normal, routine. The other 2 stirred, shifting under the blankets, but neither woke. The girl slid off the bed, bare feet touching the cold floor without flinching. Mummy always comes when the lights flicker. Her voice was flat, almost rehearsed. Like she'd said it 1,000 times before, each time to someone different. I wanted to ask what she meant, but my mouth still couldn't work. My hands had started trembling again, not the adrenaline shock kind, but something deeper, something that felt permanent. She moved past me, headed toward the kitchen as casually as if we were in some suburban home. And not this. She opened the fridge. There was food inside, real food. Milk, eggs, fruit, all perfectly fresh. She pulled out a bottle of juice and looked over at me. Mummy, are you thirsty? I finally managed to shake my head. My voice came out quieter than I expected. I'm not your mummy. She blinked once, slow and heavy, like that answer didn't compute, like it didn't matter. You will be. And then, as if the conversation has ended, she went about her morning, pouring juice, humming a tuneless little song under her breath. As she moved swiftly around the kitchen, the fluorescent light traced the shape of her long, dark braid. The freckles dusted across her nose. I knew that face. Carrie. She'd Carrie's face. Her daughter. There was no mistaking it. My knees buckled and I hit the floor, the weight of it all pressing down until I couldn't hold it in. I sobbed into my hands, the guilt pouring out of me in broken, shaking breaths. I'm sorry, I whispered over and over. I'm so sorry. The little girl stopped and came to me, lifting my face in her small hands with the same soft, gentle touch I'd seen in her mother. She handed me a glass of water like it was the most normal thing in the world. Like this was how all mothers met their daughters. The other 2 had stirred by then, emerging from the bedroom one by one, groggy, barefoot, rubbing their eyes. The girl with Carrie's face moved past me, calm and unfazed, and pushed the door I came through behind her. The sound of it clicking into place felt more final than any lock. "Mummy?" a new voice chirped, this one bright, excited, like waking up on Christmas morning. A little red-headed boy grinned from ear to ear. "We got a new one, yippee!" My stomach dropped the moment I saw him. The red hair, the green eyes, that sharp little grin. He was Cricket's. There was no doubt in my mind. He looked too much like her. The last child hung back, pale and small, silent. She didn't speak, didn't smile. She didn't look like Carrie or Cricket. And somehow that unsettled me more than anything else. I didn't know which was worse, the thought that Sam had stolen her, or the thought that she'd never belonged to someone else, someone who never made it out either. I wiped my face and forced myself upright, swallowing the lump in my throat. "Hey kiddos," I said, trying to steady my voice. "I'm not your mummy, but I'm going to look after you, all right? I'll figure out a way to get us help, I promise." The older girl's face hardened the second the words left my mouth. She snatched the water glass from my hands and hurled it against the cabinet, shattering it across the floor. Without thinking, I scooped the smallest one into my arms, holding her tight so her bare feet wouldn't find the glass. The girl, Carrie's daughter, stood there glaring at me. "You are a mummy," she said flatly. "There's no getting help. I shut the door." Her voice dropped, cold and matter-of-fact. "We can't get out. We never get out." She turned toward the fridge and opened it like she had done this 100 times before. "Daddy will be here soon. Clean this up. Dinner's in the freezer. Put it in the pot. Heat it up." And just like that, the conversation was over. I knew what was in the freezer. And I'll be damned if I was going to feed this girl her own mother. Oh my days. What the heck has just happened? Oh my goodness. This is just... I didn't see that coming. There's 3 of them. Who's the mother of the third one? And was Carrie not only like 14? That poor child. So these kids just live there. And he obviously, every time he goes out to check on things, he's going there. But the food is the people. Right, time for number 10. Let's get over there.